Devotees should read them, study them. The more we read them and study them, the more we'll appreciate them. And the more we appreciate them, that appreciation inspires us to give them these books to others. Carry books wherever you go, even if you're working or shopping or just going here and there. Carry some books, you meet somebody, and you can just say, here's a nice. You want to read about reincarnation, you want to read about karma, you want to read about the next life, so many things. But when we're out there distributing books, of course we can distribute so many. But Prabhupada said book distribution means big books. Distributing small books are good. Some people have a hard time distributing small books. We should carry small books, but we should try to give them the Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, mostly Gitas, because by distributing Bhagavad Gitas, they get something. They really get something. And then, if they don't want a Gita, it's too expensive or whatever, then you keep your small books as a backup. And then at least they get something. Okay, you can't afford 10 pounds for the Bhagavad Gita. Here, just give 2 pounds for a little small book. Okay. Sometimes they do that. So, what can we say? That we're in the midst of the Christmas marathon now. It's an opportunity. People are, I think, at least from my own observation and experience, people are a little more hungry for spiritual life. The barometer or the fever of material existence is such that people are starting to becoming very frustrated in trying to enjoy material life. Of course, they continue because that's all they know, and they're still attached to that. But there's another element, and that is that people are looking for something to latch onto, which is more tangible, something that can give them more satisfaction. So I'm seeing that now. More and more young people, more and more people in general seem to be looking for something. I was traveling in America. I was sitting on the plane. One man gets on. He sits in one place. He sees me, changes his seat, and comes sitting near me. And then as soon as the plane takes off, he starts asking questions. So for 2.5 hours, it was the fastest 2.5-hour plane ride I ever went on. I was just answering all those questions. Really nice. Gave him back to Godhead magazine. I always carry small books of something with me in case I meet somebody when I'm traveling. I was happy to get back to Godhead magazine. He told me where he lived. There's a temple in his city. So, like that. So, give him a mantra card. Carry mantra cards too. These are nice. And then the same day, when I was coming out of the plane, I'm walking down the escalator, coming down the escalator in the airport, and then some lady said to me, "Oh, are you going to the Peace Pagoda?" I said, "Peace?" I said, "No, I'm going to the Hare Krishna temple." She said, "Peace," and moved on. But she was nice. And then she was smiling through the whole thing. So and then there was another, when I was coming back from the same place, I'm going through the security, and there's a security guy there who checks your passport and your boarding pass. As soon as they come up to me, it goes like this. Something like that. Right? He said, "Where are you guys at? Got a temple around here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I need a teacher. I'm reading books, but I can't. I need a teacher." I said, "It's a good idea. Here's where our temple is." I gave him a back to Godhead magazine. He thanked me and he said, "Yeah, I'll visit your temple." Then I was going through the same line. I came out the other side. There was a lady there who was giving us back our paraphernalia. She said, "Oh, who are you?" I said, "I'm Hare Krishna." She said, "What's that?" Because this in America. People are pretty, you know, a lot of people don't know who we are still. Majority of the people don't. Although we've been around for 40 years, people don't know who we are. So she said, what's that? I said, oh, would you like to chant a nice mantra? She said, yeah. So I gave her this card and I said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So she said, thank you, took the card. So I think there's an interest anyway. It seems to be people are looking for something. And those of you who are devotees, if you travel in, of course in London it's nice. People like it in London. Everybody knows the Hare Krishnas in London. So we travel in our devotees if we can. And if you can, then somehow or other carry books with you, or some mantra cards, anything. You meet somebody, you can give them something. But those of you who are going out regularly every day know that even though it's cold, and sometimes the people are colder than the weather, it can be like that. Still, don't become discouraged. If one person takes a book, then that's success. That's success. Prabhupada, when he was in his final days, before he left the planet, he was still hearing the books for us. He said, this has given me life. He said, I'm just a bag with some bones in it right now. There was nothing left of Prabhupada's body. He was so thin. But still, when he heard his book scores, he would become so enlivened. He said, this is life. To see how the devotees are distributing books. And that was Prabhupada's mission, to present Krishna consciousness in the form of this transcendental literature. It is so powerful. And just by touching the book, people are benefited. I think there's so many stories we can speak. I mean, unlimited. But what can we say? That this verse, it really sums up everything. That people are suffering. And they're trying different ways to relieve their suffering. And sometimes something works for a few moments or a few days, but then again. But here, they can hear the glories of the Lord, or they can chant the glories of the Lord, or they can come in contact with the philosophy that speaks about the glories of the Lord and the process of pure devotional service. And then the seed has been planted, and people will eventually become devotees, either in this life or soon. So we're out there, we're gardeners. Lord Chaitanya is the supreme gardener. He's distributing the fruits of love of God. So he's asking everyone to take up the shovel and put some seeds in the ground of people's hearts by giving them the opportunity to practice devotional service. So this is the greatest welfare work. That's what it says in the scriptures. People can do good to others, and people want to do good to others. And Prabhupada says human life means to do good to others. So that is the purpose of human life, to somehow or other see the importance of helping others. People like to do that with their friends, their family members, and others. But for a devotee knows that Krishna is the Supreme Father, and every living entity is actually my brother and sister, actually. So to see like that is actually to see correctly. So the greatest welfare work to the family of the world is somehow bringing them back to the lotus feet of the Lord in one form or another. So this knowledge is, what we say, powerful. When you have knowledge, you're free. Knowledge is the greatest weapon. There's nothing greater than transcendental knowledge. Because by having transcendental knowledge, one no longer experiences the sufferings of the material world, or does not even experience the feature of the disappearance of this body. Because the disappearance of this body is inevitable for all living beings. The body will go. Prabhupada said, don't become disturbed by what is naturally going to happen. People get afraid of death. Why you should be afraid of death? It's going to happen. Everyone has to go through it. Just be ready for it. That's all. The idea is to be ready for death, not to be afraid of it. It's going to happen. So that's inevitable. And so to prepare ourselves for that is to be fixed in transcendental knowledge. In order